Well, hello everybody, and welcome to Fitness and Wellness Online. My name is Carla Murphy, and I'm excited to get this class underway and to get to know all of you. You know, this class, well, and in this video, it is going to kind of go through the syllabus a little bit, but you'll definitely want to read through the syllabus on your own. What I'm really going to spend most of the time in this video is going over how do we do an exercise class online. So that's going to be the big bulk of this. But what I really want to start with is just talking about, you know, this class is really an effort to get us to think about our wellness on a daily basis. Wellness is one of those things that we kind of push to the back of our minds and we don't often think about because we have lots of other things that we need to think about, like school and classes and homework and working and, taking care of kids, parents, partners, right? We have a lot of stuff going on in our lives and we often neglect our wellness. And, when we talk about wellness, yes, exercise is a big part of this class. So you're going to need to be exercising on a regular basis. But I hope that you will see how important your overall wellness is and really how being more active can be really helpful in all aspects of your life. And so, as we move through this class, most assignments, they're not difficult assignments, but they just kind of require students to think and reflect and to apply things to their own lives. And so I hope moving forward for these next 8 weeks at least, most days you will take some time to think about your wellness, either because you have to, because of an assignment, or because you're exercising, or because you are starting to kind of recognize how important it is. Our wellness is something that we don't miss until it's gone, right? So just something to think about moving forward. The other kind of point of this video is just to kind of remind students that I'm an actual person. And so every email that you get, it's me sending it. Every piece of feedback that you get, that's me writing it. So it's all me, right? And so if you have a question or you want to meet to talk about some stuff, I am more than happy to do that. Okay. And so just because this is an online class, that does not mean that we are limited to email. Now, I will say email is the best way to get in touch with me because I do check my email on a, daily basis. So if you want to set up a Zoom meeting so we can chat about some stuff, still send me an email and let me know that, and I will get back with you and we can find a time that works for both of us. So even though this is online, we're not limited to that format. We can certainly chat as well outside of email, and I would encourage that. And sometimes a student might send me an email with some questions, and you might get an email back from me saying, hey, do you have maybe 5 or 10 minutes sometime now or, in the next day or so where we can just chat about this, because it would be quicker to do that rather than going back and forth via email, right? So I guess we'll just kind of kick it off with that email is the best way to get a hold of me, but that doesn't mean we are limited to email for our communication method for this class. The other big thing about this class is it is considered an accelerated class, meaning, generally a normal semester is 15 weeks in length, but this class is only 8 weeks. So we're doing 15 weeks of work in 8 weeks time. And so what that means is if it feels like there's a lot going on, that's because there is. We're doing 15 weeks of work in 8 weeks time. So just kind of keep that in mind as you're going through this class. If you're like, man, there's a lot going on this week. Well, yeah, because you're probably doing maybe 2 weeks of work in 1 week because, again, this is an accelerated class. The benefit, I guess, of an accelerated class is that we are done in 8 weeks instead of 15. And so, that's kind of the benefit. But that also means during these 8 weeks, it's much more intense. And there's also something to be said about, having that more intense focus for a shorter period of time in terms of the learning that takes place as well, right? So yeah, 8 weeks of time to do 15 weeks of work. So if there's a lot going on, that's because there probably is, because we're almost doubling up the weeks. Now, having said that, anytime you're taking an online course, it's really important to be organized. And I would just say, especially with an online accelerated course, it's really important to be ahead of schedule as well, meaning you're working ahead. You're not waiting until things come due. The due dates in our course are Thursday mornings, right? Thursday mornings are the due dates in our course. So every Thursday morning at 8:59 a.m., that is a due date. That doesn't mean that's when you have to wait to turn things in, but that's when they have to be turned in by. Sometimes students will say, well, why not having I'm used to a midnight due date. Well, I used to have Wednesday nights or Sunday nights at midnight or at 11:59 p.m. is the due date. But then I thought, I don't do any work with anything. I don't do any grading between 11:59 p.m. and the next morning. So I just kind of extend it to the next morning. I've also moved it to, before the weekend. So students who want to use the weekend to turn stuff in and do all their work, they certainly can, right? But that you don't have to use that weekend. And also, I try to take a step back on the weekends from my email a little bit. And so if you do have some burning questions or stuff, those can also get answered during the week. So that's why I have that Thursday morning due date, right? Every morning or every Thursday morning at 8:59 a.m. in our class, we have some things that are due. Okay. All right. So the next kind of big chunk of this time is going to be talking about the exercise and how do we do an online class or an exercise class online. And basically, over the course of our 8 weeks together, right, you need to acquire, if you want maximum points for exercise, you need to acquire 25 hours worth of exercise. 25 hours worth of exercise over our 8 weeks. So that's about 3.2 hours of exercise per week. So in addition to the online assignments that you are going to be doing, you also want to block out in your schedule, right, 3.2 hours of time that you are going to exercise. If you want to earn the maximum points for exercise. Every hour that you exercise is 4 points. So if you get all 25 hours, that is 100 out of 100 points that you would earn, right? If you don't hit the 25 hours, then you don't get the 100 points. Maybe you get 90 out of 100, right? Or 80 out of 100, okay? So how do we do this exercise? Like I said, you have to to earn max points is 25 hours over our 8 weeks together. So that's about 3.2 hours per week. And there are some rules that go along with this exercise. One is that you can count a max of 4 hours of exercise towards our class per week, right? So if you exercise for 5 hours in a week, only 4 hours of that can be submitted for our class. Okay, that's to kind of prevent students from saying, okay, I need 25 hours of exercise. I'm going to exercise, 12 hours these first 2 weeks, maybe 2 hours a day, and then just be done with that. Because that's not really the point of the class. The point is to be more active during the whole 8 weeks that we are together. So a max of 4 hours of exercise can be submitted per week. Another rule is a maximum of 90 minutes per day. So you can't say, well, I'm going to do 4 hours of exercise on Monday and then I will call it good. Nope, the max is 90 minutes of exercise per day that can count towards this class. And then the smallest increments of time that you can count towards this class are 20-minute time frames, right? So you can't say, well, I'm not going to go and I'm going to exercise for 5 minutes here and then another 5 minutes there and a 5 minutes there, and then it might add up to 30 minutes for the day, right? The minimum is 20-minute time blocks. And then kind of the final rule for the exercise hours is that during the time that you submit for our class, during those exercise hours, your heart rate needs to average at least 110 beats per minute or higher. Okay, 110 beats per minute or higher in order for it to count as exercise. So if you exercise for 30 minutes, maybe you went on a walk, maybe you took your dog for a walk, that's great. But maybe your dog took lots of extra time sniffing and wandering, which meant you did a lot more time standing still in that 30 minutes rather than walking. And so at the end of your walk, your heart rate only averaged 98 beats per minute. That means those 30 minutes cannot count towards our class because your heart rate didn't average over that 110 beats per minute. So if your dog is interested in wandering and sniffing and slowing you down, right, maybe work on encouraging your dog to keep a good pace while you're walking with them, or maybe having to do some walks without your dog, right? Okay, so those rules were a max of 4 hours per week, no more than 90 minutes per day. Those smallest increments of time are 20-minute intervals, and your heart rate needs to average over 110 beats per minute. So you get the picture, right? I'm looking for, if you want to hit that max and a minimum of 3.2 hours per week, in those various combinations to get you to that 25 hours for our time. Now, you might be thinking, well, I'm just not going to exercise at all. I'll take a 0 for the 100 points. I'm going to do really well on all my online assignments, so that'll be fine. But if you do not accumulate a minimum of 14 hours over our time together, then the highest grade you can earn in the class is a C-. Meaning, let's say you do great on all the online work, you have an A+, right? 100% on all that online work. But then for the exercise hours, maybe only submit 3, okay? Or maybe you submit 10 and it drops your grade from an A to a B. Because it didn't hit that minimum of 14 hours, I'm actually going to submit a C-. So if you're wondering what's the least amount of exercise I can do for this class, it's 14 hours, which is averaging, just under 2 hours a week, okay? Now, I hope everyone's going to try and get, the 25 hours, but if you're looking what the minimum is, it's the 14 hours. Now, of course, if you get those 14 hours, right, you're not going to get the full 100 points for the exercise. So you would get 14 times 4, was that 56 points out of the 100 points? Okay, but you wouldn't if you hit the 14 hours, you're not automatically going to get a C- grade. All right. So the other question is, do students just say, okay, I exercised for 3 hours this week and I take them at their word? I don't. Okay, as much as I would like to, right? That's not how we do it in our discipline, right? You have to have some verification of your exercise hours. And the way that you do that is with some type of wearable device. And so that can be an Apple Watch, right? It can be a Fitbit. There is like a Samsung Health app that I think works with Androids, but whatever it is, it has to be a wearable device that tracks your heart rate during the length of the workout, while you are exercising. Okay. So you might be thinking, I don't have any type of wearable device. You do not have to go out and buy one. We have Fitbits available in the Delta College Library for students to check out. They're nice Fitbits. And so if you do not have a wearable device, you just head to our Delta College Library and check one out for the duration of our class time, and you will be good to go. So when I am exercising, right, I'm going to have my wearable device on. I'm going to start a workout. I'm going to exercise. And that when I'm done with my workout, I'll stop my workout there. And then that is going to pair with an app on my phone, depending on what type of wearable device you have, right? If you use a Fitbit from our Delta College Library, that means you'll download the Fitbit app to your phone, and it will pair with the Fitbit that you wear, so that when you're done with the workout and you get within range of your phone, it'll upload to your phone. Right? And then you will use a screenshot from your phone that shows the date and the time, the duration of the workout, and your heart rate during that workout. And that is what you will be submitting, right, for your verification of your exercise, right? So you can get a wearable device. If you don't have one, you can check a Fitbit out from our library. You make sure you wear that wearable device during your workouts. Make sure you're tracking your workouts with that. It'll pair to an app on your phone, depending on what type of wearable device you have. And then you will use screenshots from your phone to copy and paste into a PowerPoint template as proof of your exercise time. Actually, the first week of class, I have an exercise hour practice assignment where you don't need to do a full workout, but you're going to put your wearable device on. You're going to do some type of activity for just a few minutes so that you can make sure you know the correct screenshot to copy and paste into a PowerPoint template to submit to me, submit into a Dropbox so I can view it. And that allows me to see that students know how to get a screenshot from their phone into a PowerPoint template and upload it to the Dropbox. It also allows me to make sure students are submitting the correct screenshot that has the date, the time, and the heart rate on it. And so we can have that conversation if something doesn't look correctly before you get into exercising. Because you don't submit your exercise hours every week. You submit your exercise hours twice over our class together. Once, I think I do about 3 or 4 weeks in, and then once on the last week of class. So you don't have to submit exercise time every week. You're going to submit it just a couple times by copy and pasting the screenshots into this PowerPoint template for me. You'll also want to jot down somewhere what you're doing each time that you exercise when you use this PowerPoint template that I have to submit your hours. On the slide where you put your screenshot, that shows that you exercise for, 45 minutes, and I can see your heart rate was 120 beats per minute for those 45 minutes. There's a place in there where you'll type out what you did, that you did the elliptical for 25 minutes and you did lower body weightlifting for the other 20 minutes of your workout, right? So you want to make sure you're kind of jotting down what you did each day so that when you put it into the PowerPoint template, you can do that. You can let me know what you were doing as well, all right? So the other thing is required workouts. There aren't a ton of required workouts in here. You can pretty much do whatever it is you would like to do as long as it's getting your heart rate above that 110, or you're averaging 110 beats per minute or higher during your workout. If you are unsure what to do, you can just send me an email and you and I can meet over Zoom and we can chat about what are some of your goals and what do you like to do, and we can put together kind of a basic plan for you. Also, every week I send out workouts that students can follow. It introduces you to a lot of different channels out there on YouTube and various workouts that you might be interested in. So I send those every week as well, right? If you're a regular exerciser and you already have a routine, that's great. But I would encourage you to maybe try out some new things. And you're welcome to meet with me as well. Let me know what you've been doing. We can talk about ways to improve upon what you are doing, to change it up, maybe some things to add. But lots of different ways to get your exercise in to be active, right? Lots of different ways. And with this class being pretty much over May and June, the weather should be great. So hopefully you're also getting outside to do some of that as well, okay? Now, I'm not going to use this syllabus kind of video time to go over the rest of the syllabus. But you'll definitely want to read through kind of the rest of it where I talk about the class assignment policies. Basically, make sure you turn stuff in on time. If things are going to be late, there is a penalty associated with that. If you know something's going to be late or you've had a week that's been overwhelming and you're not going to get stuff in on time, let me know about that, and maybe I can be flexible with that due date for you for that week. Although usually what I'll do is say, turn it in when you can. There'll be a late penalty assessed when you turn it in. But if this is your only week of late penalties, just remind me at the end of the semester or the end of our class, and I'll remove that penalty. I don't want one rough week ruining, right, a student's, entire class. But, keep me up to date if you think things are going to be late, and let me know what's going on so that I can work with students in that, okay? So, definitely read through the rest of the syllabus. There is a quiz over that syllabus, and there's a syllabus acknowledgement assignment, which you will see what that is once you read through the syllabus, okay? We're coming up here on the 20-minute mark, and so I don't really like going much over 20 minutes. So just kind of a couple reminders about the exercise, right? You want to get in 25 hours of exercise to earn the max amount of points. That's averaging about 3.2 hours of exercise per week. Making sure that you remember only a max of 4 hours per week can count towards our class, a max of 90 minutes per day, and those smallest increments are 20 minutes. And you want to make sure that your heart rate averages at that 110 beats per minute or higher. In terms of minimums, right, the minimum that you want to hit is 14 hours of exercise over our time together. Anything less than 14 hours means the highest grade you can earn is a C-. So definitely shoot for that 14 hours of exercise. You do need a wearable device that tracks your heart rate while you are exercising. And so if you do not currently have a wearable device that will work, you can check one out from the Delta College Library. So you do not need to go and purchase one. I do have, the library contact information right in our syllabus for you. In terms of submitting exercise hours, you'll submit those twice over the course of our semester, and there's a template that you will use to fill out, right? You'll be using screenshots from the apps on your phone that's paired with your wearable device to show your exercise time, okay? And I guess I just want to end with that, yes, I spent this whole video talking about exercise, but that's what I think students have the most questions about, like how do I track my exercise and verify it, and how do we do this class online when it's an exercise class? But really, the point of this whole class is just to recognize and spend time thinking about how important our wellness is, right, and how it impacts all aspects of our life. There's actually, quite a few assignments in our class that look at exercise and learning, exercise and sleep, anxiety, depression. I actually give students choices in terms of what they can explore. But there really is a lot of things that being active can help with. And honestly, the older we get, it seems the more important it is to be active, right? And so I hope those are some things that you'll reflect on as we move through our class. So I guess I'll just end with a reminder that I'm a real person here on the end of every email and every little piece of feedback that you get. So if you do have questions or concerns, definitely send me an email, and know that we are not limited to email for our communication in this class. So I'm really looking forward to getting to know all of you over these next 8 weeks or so, and I'll see you online.